what goes in a vault? Is it just a total copy, or is there more to it? But how do I know?
I did an engagement with one of the country's largest banks. Kind of like this, we spent actually, 3 hours in a meeting going through how this all works. And this bank is, again, one of the biggest in the country. Their security is really, really good, right? And about, probably halfway, 3/4 way through, the CIO and the CISO were sitting next to each other. They chattered a little bit together for a moment. Then they said, we believe that the bank security is such that we don't know that building another control like this and building the vault is something that we really would have to do. So we hear that a lot, right? We talk about that. I thought about that and I thought, well, you guys need to understand how some of these other attacks worldwide really work. And when you do understand that, it may make a difference. So I took them through a fairly lengthy discussion about the attack on Maersk and the attack on Merck, and on a few other companies back in the NotPetya days, and what we learned from that. And what I told them is, I said, the one thing that we learned from that, and what the customers learned from that, is the most important data to vault, really, when you think about it, you look at these new exploits like VHD and Wasted Locker and others, the most important thing to vault is everything about your network. Copies of dumps from Active Directory so you can bring back up your AD services quickly. Copies of DNS zone tables so you can actually do authentication and name resolution, right? All those things. We have a one chart slide that has 50 things on it that you need to vault because of a cyber attack. When I went through all of that, the CIO of the bank and the CISO chatted again, and they said, you know what? You're absolutely right. We need to at least put a vault in each of our major banking centers and vault those materials. We went away, we started, cobbling things together and proposals and stuff, and about 30 days later, they came back and said, well, you know what, we chose to do what you call critical rebuild materials. Stuff to where we get things running quickly again, not all of our 150 banking environments, but the critical materials. I said, yes, that's perfect. They said, we want to add one other key application to that. We want to add our wholesale payment systems to that, right? So one key application environment and critical materials. You start, Michael, with critical materials. You take a look at maybe one or two key apps and you build the thing. You build the thing. Once it's built and once it's done, then adding the other 100 apps when necessary becomes easy. The hard part for most organizations is what's most important. Because it differs depending on who you talk to, right? Everybody thinks their data is the most important. Start with critical materials, choose one or two apps, work with your Dell folks to understand how big this animal should be based upon the next couple of years, and build the thing.